You know them, right? BMW and Land Rover, two of the most powerful luxury car brands in the world. They're absolute symbols of performance, status, and of course, engineering. But what if I told you that both of them, at very different points in time, were on the verge of complete collapse? Like about to be wiped off the map for good.
But how they survived, well, that's where things get really interesting. Their stories could not be more different. BMW, on one hand, was rescued by the deep pockets and the, let's call it, patient capital of a single family. Land Rover, though, oh man. It was passed around through 6 different corporate owners, each one basically running it into the ground before the next one came along. So you've got 2 similar outcomes, but 2 wildly different paths to get there.
And that really gets to the core of what we're digging into today. When a true titan of industry is failing, what does it actually take to save it? We're going to look at these 2 stories as amazing case studies in strategy, risk, and ultimately reinvention.
All right, so let's set the stage here. Both companies were facing a curse, but they were very different kinds of curses. Think of it this way. One was like a sudden fatal illness, and the other was more of a chronic, decades-long disease.
So for BMW, the crisis got really bad in one specific year, 1959. The company was, for all intents and purposes, broke. I mean, its beautiful high-end cars, they just weren't selling in post-war Germany. They were literally surviving by making pots and pans, bicycles, and that tiny little Isetta microcar. They were just hours away from being swallowed whole by their biggest rival. Land Rover, though, totally different story. It wasn't born as some luxury brand. It was literally sketched in the sand on a beach, designed to be a simple farm tool, a British answer to the American Jeep. Its curse wasn't one single moment of failure. No, it was decades of just constant instability under completely chaotic ownership.
And wow, does this timeline just scream chaos? I mean, just look at this. Being passed around like this means you have no consistent strategy, no long-term vision, and you're constantly starved of the investment you need to stay competitive. Every new owner had a different plan, pulling the company in a totally new direction.
Okay, so all this chaos, it eventually leads both companies to a breaking point, a moment where it's all or nothing. For both of them, survival really came down to one high-stakes, bet-the-company decision that changed everything. In BMW's corner, salvation came from just one man, Herbert Quandt. And get this, his own bankers, the people paid to advise him, told him to let the company fail. They said, sell your shares to the competitor Daimler-Benz. He chose to do the exact opposite, risking a massive part of his family's fortune on this failing company. It all went down at this almost legendary 10-hour shareholder meeting on December 9th, 1959. Daimler's takeover plan was on the table, ready to go. But then a group of small, really passionate shareholders just erupted and forced a delay. And in that little window of time, Quandt had a total change of heart, reversed his position, and started buying up stock until he had a 50% controlling stake. He single-handedly blocked the deal right at the last minute. Just incredible. Now, Land Rover's big moment. It was less like a courtroom drama and more like a desperate fire sale. Deep in the 2008 global financial crisis, Ford was bleeding cash and just had to sell. So India's Tata Motors swooped in and bought both Jaguar and Land Rover for $2.3 billion. To put that in perspective, that's less than Ford had paid for Land Rover alone just 8 years before. It was a bargain, to say the least.
But here's the thing, the really crucial part is what happened next. Instead of some forceful takeover, Ratan Tata of Tata Motors chose a path of what we call strategic patience. He pumped in the money that Land Rover desperately needed, but he gave their British management team total freedom to run the business. This hands-off approach, this trust in the team that was already there, well, that was the key that unlocked everything.
Okay, so they've been saved from the brink. Now what? How do you actually rebuild? Well, for both of them, the comeback was staged with a single, game-changing product that completely redefined the brand's entire identity for a new generation. For BMW, it was this car, the Neue Klasse, or New Class sedan, launched back in 1962. It was everything their old cars weren't. It was compact, sporty, affordable, but still premium. This car basically invented the modern sports sedan category and set the DNA for every single BMW that would follow for the next 60 years. This was the car that proved Herbert Quandt's insane bet was absolutely right. And for Land Rover, the modern version of that idea was the reborn Defender in 2020. They took their most iconic, most utilitarian vehicle and just totally reimagined it. It still had that heritage look, but it was packed with modern tech, and this is the important part, it was priced as a premium luxury good.
This move perfectly weaponized the brand's history, turning its rugged past into a powerful selling point in a way more profitable market. So when you step back and look at these two incredible turnarounds, what are the actual takeaways? It turns out you can boil it all down to a pretty clear 4-part playbook for how an iconic brand can pull off a near-death experience.
Yeah, and this table just lays it out so clearly. You can see the exact same journey, just with different players. A moment of crisis, the arrival of a patient savior with a lot of capital, the launch of a product that redefines the brand, and then an outcome of just massive success.
So here it is, the Survivors Playbook. Step 1, secure patient capital. That means money from someone who believes in the long-term vision, not a quick flip. 2, you launch that one product that tells the world who you are now. 3, you weaponize your heritage. You don't treat your history like a museum piece, you use it as an advantage. And 4, you push relentlessly upmarket into more and more profitable territory.
So, did the playbook work? Yeah, the numbers are just staggering. Both companies are now reporting record-breaking revenues. We're talking about them becoming the global powerhouses they are today. This isn't just a story about survival, it's a complete and total resurrection on a massive scale. But you know how it is in the car world, right? You solve one problem, and the next big one is already here. And that, of course, is electrification. For BMW, almost 18% of their sales are already fully electric, and they're betting their future on a brand new platform that they've named, yep, you guessed it, the Neue Klasse. And Land Rover is right there with them, of course, with their reimagined strategy. The demand for its first all-electric Range Rover is already huge. We're talking a waitlist of nearly 30,000 people before the car has even launched. Think about that. And that leaves us with the big final question. The Survivors Playbook worked brilliantly to save them from crises in the past, but now, as the entire industry is being completely rewritten by the move to electric, can that same playbook really work all over again?